All right.
Hey, this chair is supposed to dress up. Didn't you know that?
Not in this heat. I got a collar shirt on.
You see, he is dressed up.
Dressed up here.
Yeah. Business up top.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah, I'll admit it. Yeah, it's just like really good trout, I thought. Weather wasn't stifling last year. You ready? Okay, it is 6 p.m. for the July 13th Cheney Planning Commission meeting. We do have a quorum of commissioners present, so we will go ahead and start the meeting. We'll start with citizen participation. Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to address the commission? Seeing none, we will go on to approval of the June 8th meetings. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second to approve the June 8th meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Then we will go on to topic number 4, public hearing number 2026-07, capital facilities and utilities element, second presentation. And Terry or Travis.
I would once
presentation?
again like to introduce Travis Bonwell, my able-bodied planning tech here, and he's been the heavy hitter on the comp plan. Very appreciative of that. His head's in it deep, so he knows what he's talking about here. So take it away.
So just to start off, I want to explain tonight, we're only looking at chapters 9 and 4. We're hoping to get approval of them. And at most, because there are a couple questions, like we're waiting for STA to get back to us for some details on some newer data. We're hoping that we can either pass it as it is or pass it with small amendments to update the data when we get it from STA or whoever we need it from. And then the next 3 chapters, we're just going to be introducing kind of like what we did with 9 and 4 last month. Luckily, you'll notice chapters 6, 12, and 14 are much shorter. So next month it'll be a lot easier, give you guys some breathing time. But yeah, so we'll just, I guess, last time it worked well by going page by page. If we wanted to start on chapter 9, do it that way if you guys would like.
Yeah. I already opened the hearing for number 9. We'll start there. Start on page 1, and if there's any discussion comments, say so.
Not for me.
The only comment I have on that is, at the end, I put all of the goals and policies we didn't have that Nexus proposed. And so that's like at the very last page, all of their policies that weren't included in our previous one. So if we change and or accept any of those, it'll have to be also amended in Appendix B. I gave you guys a preview of Appendix B, just so you guys can have it and see what it's about. So just keep that in mind down the road. These approved changes will be brought to you in Appendix B, but they'll already be approved.
Are you talking about?
Is this Appendix B?
No, but those, Appendix B is all of the goals and policies for the comp plan. It's in its own packet. It's not part of the actual chapters. Okay. And so, I gave it to you a couple months ago, in a packet, but it wasn't part of the actual, planning commission because we weren't going over it. It's just so you guys can have it. But, if you would like, I could provide it next meeting and that we can
Yeah, let's do that.
put it in the record.
Let me flip over to page 2. Any comments, staff or commissioners?
No.
So we're on capital facilities.
I had a question with, at one point in time, the light department was gonna be doing some sort of partnering with, I don't know if it was like a part of Avesta or something like that to provide telecommunications services. I don't know whatever happened with that. I don't know if that just died off or if that's still in the works.
I am aware of the rumor.
Yeah. I,
Like years ago.
And I raise that question because under the types of source of public facilities that under light or Cheney Light Department, I guess I have the question of whether or not telecommunication is supposed to be a part of that or not. So I guess I'd raise that question as a staff to figure out. I don't know. I'll actually ask you, Vince, real quick, because you might know what I'm talking about and maybe know if it's. Yes, yeah, I think that's probably what it is. Yeah.
My understanding is that it come to fruition for logistic reasons. Is my understanding.
But not, you don't know for sure if it's maybe it's still a contract that exists or.
We do have multiple fiber type companies. I don't know that Vista is pursuing that. I don't know.
I think that the edge facilities that were in Cheney have been sold to a company called Wireless, Wired or Wireless.
That answers a future question. Because that is WOW is in here. So, but so do you know, is that something that still the city participates in?
Yeah, and unfortunately, like this data, a lot of it was brought over by Nexus. And so, I don't know their full background on where they got all their information. But I do know for electrical, right now, all we have is the Cheney Light Department. We don't have, Avista does gas with us, but no electrical.
Well, I think that'd be good to maybe just pin that down, whether or not that something else should be listed in here. The other question I had, because I just don't know, but that Golden Hills, call it Pocket Park, is that city owned? Definitely is. Okay. Question, thanks.
Page 9-3. Comments, questions?
No, no questions for me.
No.
It's like pro forma stuff to me.
9-4.
Not for me.
-5.
Public Works question.
Yep.
Dan was here. I had heard, and maybe this is Reservoir Zero, that there was a reservoir that's repurposed for the reuse water.
That's Reservoir Zero, I believe. I talked with Chris and he told me to remove that because it's no longer in the potable water portion.
It's, I guess, so on that, then should we be having a separate table that addresses reuse facilities? Because otherwise we've lost that reservoir. It's not being accounted for in the capital facility plan.
Do you know if it's at current, did they start the purple pipe with that well? Is it actually going right now?
I don't think it's. Just waiting.
Yeah, we need to have the purple pipe certified, right, before it can do anything.
From
That's
what
all.
I heard, it's not usable yet, but it actually had been pumped up into that reservoir.
I do not. Yeah.
That was a little side conversation I had with somebody, so take that.
So do you think we should add a different, like a separate table to show that reservoir and show it for like a future water reuse?
If there's concern about separating from potable, then I would do that as a separate table then. But it's still part of a capital facility. It's something that the city has to maintain over the years and expand on probably, so it needs to be here one way or the other.
And we want credit for that as reusing water for environmental purposes.
Any other comments? 9-6. Travis, this is your comment about purple pipe. Second one down on the right.
Yeah, that's what well, that kind of talk with Shane, if we put that water reuse pipe there, we could just mention it here in the sewer water, stormwater as well.
Some narrative is
Yeah,
would probably be
but I
good.
don't know enough about the purple pipe to feel comfortable writing a full narrative, so I'd probably reach out to like the water department to find out like some specifics on it.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, there might be a little bit of formatting cleanup, this whole page is talking about existing conditions. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure if we would live there so much as some of that information needs to be pulled into what's actually a part of the capital facilities, so.
I would ask, so you've got percentages of use, 77% to consumers, 23% to businesses, so the city's made a lot of effort over the last few years to stem leaks. How confident are we that, if you're saying that 100% of it is getting billed, you say 77-23, did we really get all those leaks solved? Have we solved that problem?
Well, these numbers were verified by the water department, so they're the ones who gave it to me, so I'm assuming That's correct. I had them double check everything in here and update what they could, and that's what they provided.
We could certainly pose the question.
Should, yeah.
We all know what happens when it's soon.
If we're moving on, same page, I find it odd formatting purposes that the picture of the library is there when we're talking about sewer, water, stormwater. I think it makes more sense to put it on the next page where we talk about public buildings, or maybe 9.8, just a strictly formatting issue.
Move it over to public building.
Yeah.
And also I do want to say, the formatting will definitely be changed a little bit, especially with adding and subtracting of words. It's throwing pictures on the different pages at sometimes, and not this time, but there will be some things like that. So we'll make sure the formatting is all cleaned up and it looks nice. But so move this image up to public.
I have a question on the two wells that are not operational. Why? Why are they not operational?
I do know the one well, the purple pipe, because it's not running yet. I don't know about the other well up in there.
So we have 8 total, including the one that the purple pipe's gonna come out of.
I think
Is that correct?
that's purple pipe, and then wasn't the other well, they had traces of PFAS in it and they shut it down for abundance of safety.
Yeah,
I believe that's what
I just
happened,
don't
right?
remember, so that's why I'm asking the question.
I think all fours got higher than
Isn't well 4 still being used for irrigation of parks? So that's where I'm confused on why there's 2 that are not operational as well, but.
It's not all. It's for irrigation permits.
Yeah, I guess maybe then on that point are those other wells still recognized just outside of the potable side? It's similar to that reservoir, it'd still be part of our facilities, right? But
Do we add
to the point, maybe not a part of the potable water system.
same with like adding that purple pipe table? Should we add a table showing that the wells that aren't in use?
Like, we definitely don't want to lose their existence and the fact, because I think both of them are, in a sense, operational, just not usable for potable purposes, so.
Pardon the pun, but that seems like it's a pretty fluid idea where, sometimes they're running and sometimes they won't, from my understanding. I mean, I'm not in Dan Ferguson's world by any means, but it seems like wells will be turned on. Is it correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's.
So
Yeah,
to
but
put it in
that's,
a comp plan in a different table might be a little stagnant compared to what reality. I don't know.
well, yeah, it's not a question of the ones that are on or that are off, right? Because that's on the actually providing potable water to citizens. Those do fluctuate as the year goes on based on demand. But the 2 that we're talking about, one due to turbidity, the other one due to the PFAS.
Yeah.
Those ones still exist. They're still, they
Operate.
didn't disappear. They're
No, they're-
there. So
they're
how
still
do we
viable
capture
wells
that
for
in the
one,
capital
yeah.
facilities plan, despite the fact that it's just not being used for potable purposes? Because I think the point is right that this is discussing potable water, but
No,
it
that's
still needs to live somewhere.
Here's the suggestion I would make. When it says the city has 8 wells, 6 of which are currently in operation as potable wells, and just leave it at that. Or if you want to, you can add, and 2 are in use as non-potable for irrigation purposes.
Did you put like as of this writing or as of this date?
I don't
Would
think
that
you
be
have to-
wise, or?
I don't think you have to do that. Remember, this is part of the comp plan, it's the overall plan, so it doesn't, the plan doesn't change with whether they're online or offline. It's just, that's part of it, but when we do the amendment to the plan, we have to be accurate in what we're reflecting.
that we do have 8 wells, but only 6 of them are in use for potable water. 2 are in use for recyclable water for irrigation. That's how I would prefer to have it. But I'm just one person, so.
Never occurred to me that the city would have wells that aren't producing potable water. And that we've got piping in the ground that goes only to specific locations for purposes of irrigation only. That's the way that works.
Yeah, I mean, we also have intertide connection with Eastern, if our reservoir drops below a certain spot, they tie that in, so many gallons per day, and Eastern has 2 wells that contributes to the intertide system.
Okay.
Yeah, well, for it to in irrigation. As far as I understand.
And which is the well that I understand a well was just recently taken offline?
And fixed, that was well,
That was well 3, so it's been repaired.
yes.
Okay, right.
It's my understanding that they do that with valves and whatnot to distribute water where they want.
I suppose. Okay.
To get back to Rick's, I guess, proposal, I'm okay with that. With his proposal.
I agree. The original suggestion was good.
After
Not having to
Yeah,
get
add
into
bottom-
explaining what the other
add
2
bottom
are,
wells
just
to-
recognizing what the 6 are.
Anything else on 9.7?
On 9.7, just on public buildings, I believe the Sterling Mormon House is a city-owned building, and I didn't see it listed.
Is it a public building though, or it is? Okay.
You're talking about the next table on the next page?
I do want to say on 9.7, I found out from Steve just last week, on the second paragraph, starting with telecommunication services. The existing 100 megabyte wiring in most of the municipal buildings is due for an upgrade to a 1 gigabyte. It's actually was 500 megabytes per second. We didn't get the full megabyte in all the buildings.
I'm sorry, so I missed that. Are you saying the current service is 500 or you're going to move to 500 instead of?
It's
1 gigabyte?
currently 500.
It's currently 500. Okay.
Some buildings have 1 gigabyte, but some others have 500. Steve wasn't able to get a full answer on which has which, so we figured we'd go with the lowest.
Anything else? Now we'll move to 9.8. Is this where you want the Sterling House to be listed?
Isn't the Sterling House gonna be used by the police department? Oh, okay.
It looks like it should be included there as well. I realized it wasn't a part of the narrative. But I guess there should be level of service guidelines for. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a part of that deal or not. I don't know that it has a level of service that goes along with it. Because it's
at this point.
it doesn't have a specific use, a specific thing that it's providing to the citizen, so I don't know if there's actually level of service for that building, so maybe just in the narrative.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like add a paragraph, kind of like how we have like the police and fire stations are located downtown, like add the Sterling Mormon House and some data about where it's located, maybe a little bit of its history or something.
Yeah.
I could see if you needed to place a level of service on the Sterling Mormon House, it would be more of a investment into the history of Cheney itself. It's more intangible than just a number. So I don't know how you, if that would even be a way to validate that.
And 9-8. If not, 9-9. Okay, comments, questions? We move on to 9-10.
On 9-10 of the emergency services, it goes on to talk about the BNSF Railroad and Union Pacific Railroad tracks. That neither of those own the one that heads out to the grain facility. So there's nothing discussing the impact of that rail line, in which has not been upgraded as far as I know, because they go extremely slow. And it does block off parts of city limits. So, I think particularly in terms of that potential impact on emergency services and level of service, that needs to be recognized, and that I would assume doesn't meet level of service. Because I think we've all probably experienced when that goes through and blocks. I mean, there's a whole chunk that you just can't go anywhere.
Are you talking about the one that goes like by that Maverick and is really slow? And
Yeah, it'll block 904 and it blocks Cheney, Spokane,
Blocks everything.
blocks everything. Yeah. And creeps. So
And they do it at really convenient times.
that was the last time I was looking at it creeping by. That was in my mind too. It's probably not the best time of day.
But what part of the city is actually beyond our emergency services when that happens? We've got Maverick and grocery outlet. Is that?
Well, there'd be the businesses on the aviation business on Cheney Spokane, and the kitchen manufactured cabinet place that are
Okay.
off there. That's on Cheney Spokane.
Not a lot in terms of housing, but they're
Okay, I see.
industrial.
Minimal housing.
But still part of the city.
I don't think the impact on emergency services is probably gonna be significant. But I think it still has to be mentioned that it has a potential impact. For us, when we talk about those emergency services, just like the rail lines, right here. That our emergency services can't get over to anything, south of those, because when one of those trains comes through, it literally blocks all 3 access points to that. So I think we need to mention that will have an impact. It may not be significant, but it still can have an impact. And I'm always looking further on down the road when we're trying to get grants and money and everything else. They're going to be looking at this stuff and how it impacts our city services if we're going to try to get grants. So I think we need to make sure that that's in.
So I forget the name of the roads that are just the other side of Betts, but down in the neighborhood area there, and the road that comes out at the Kingdom Hall. So if they come out on the highway from there, if they're able to go through the neighborhood, come out onto the highway from there, they can still get back to Betts Road and turn left if they need to. So if we need to put that verbiage in there, an alternate route in case of, so that they know, that we've thought enough about what they need to do. But I believe that they, how often do we get a train that crosses the roadway at Kingdom Hall and crosses the road at Cheney, at Cheney.
Every
Spokane.
single time.
Really? It
Yeah.
crosses all three
Grain-
roadways.
The grain, that
Okay.
they're hauling has so many that it will block both of those every single time.
So the only way for them to get out and around to there is go out to Jensen Road. On Murphy. Go out Murphy on Jensen. So they could calculate how much extra time it takes them to get there. You could put that into the plan that you have, on those occasions, there has to be an alternate route out to Jensen Road. And it's gonna take them an extra 5 minutes or whatever it works out to be.
How far out is Jensen? I'm not familiar.
That's the
Oh,
rodeo
yeah.
ground, past the rodeo grounds.
That's
Yeah,
how
just
far I
past-
had to go one time. It was blocked all
Yeah, yeah.
downtown, ended up.
So
all
I
the way
would
up.
say 2 miles out-ish.
Yeah,
So you got 2 miles out on Murphy and then maybe a mile back to the highway on Jensen. At which point they could continue over the hill on Jensen and get to Andrus and come around on a pretty good road without being blocked by, even by the intersection and traffic at the intersection, backed up traffic at the intersection. They go on over Jensen Road, to Andrus. And at least then you have something to put in there that says, hey, it's gonna take an extra X amount of time to get there if we have to service this area during a train phenomenon.
So we should add data about the grain train and how it causes some emergency service issues because it blocks the roads. And then also add an alternate route, speaking for Jensen and Murphy, calculate the
Murphy,
distance
Jensen.
time
Yep,
that it'll
yep.
take for that.
Yeah,
And
I would
just
think
that-
that's a reasonable thing to put in there so that they know we haven't just overlooked it.
What's the name of that?
EWR, Eastern Washington Grid.
Okay.
And-
I would name, I would put the name in there so everybody knows what rail line that is and who it's being used by.
Vaguely remember that might be state of.
Yeah, that's just what I was saying. Could you verify the property itself is owned by the state? It's managed by a private corporation.
You mean like the railroad line track?
one emergency service we might need to consider is a little bit of road rage on the opposite side too. I mean, that would be a real thing. After you sat there a while and start jockeying around, it happens.
It'd be interesting to have a conversation with both police and fire in regard to how they take it, because there's something there to what you're saying. I
Yeah.
think in reality, my mind goes that it's not a safe bet that they're gonna say, well, we'll make it a Jensen because they
No, I
might
get
get
it.
the Jensen and then
Yeah.
there's the train there, right? So, but in terms of getting it built into the plan, I think what's important is being truthful on what that impact is on level of service, because I remember
Yeah.
it's roughly 10-ish years ago that the state took interest in what was happening when they built that facility, because they recognized they were gonna chain up big, long trains and it was going to block the road more. And they came out and there was a meeting, I think it was True Love was the mayor at the time. And they discussed alternative routes for the train, or it was mainly about getting it out of the intersection at 904. And there was, I mean, yeah, I think the paper covered it, but there was a suggested route that would include an overpass that would go over top of 904. And like I said, that was like some 10 years ago and then nothing. So I think there's a certain point of actually identifying what's a true impact on level of service, so that you have something that you hopefully can approach the state to get them to take serious about what happens with that rail line.
Yeah.
Is that improving it on speed, or is it, getting an overpass over 904? General, because it's not just impact on emergency services. We have things even like any of the businesses in town that are impacted by that, by people's inability to come into town. Message, they might be on their way to spend money in town, they turn around and go the other way. There's a lot more that I think that impacts, and that's why we should really be.
So are you
Put that
looking
in.
at things like number of trains per day and speed limit on that section of track? So time, duration of blockage per trip or day?
I think that's the type of data you need in order to establish that.
Do we
And
want
that,
here?
and that should have been a part of when they built that facility, But they had to provide that information to the city and all the areas in the region, I believe, when they did that. So that information might already exist. It might not be a matter of like recreating it, just getting back in the files on, when they did their, I think it was a part of their SEPA, maybe. Not the lead, but we would have been contacted.
I can try to find that information. Worst case, I'll have to reach out to the actual company and see if they have the data. I don't know how long ago it was. So I
And
don't-
all that permitting went through the county too, so they should have stuff on it.
Vince?
But,
didn't you reach out to the police department for that one?
I guess as long as we
No,
check
they
it.
did comment.
Yeah.
So I think there are issues to, at least on fire. And we, how that's presented, I believe.
Okay.
I think Scott,
I'll double check with the police chief.
does that sound right?
Fire chief, not police chief?
I think it's specific. to fire response.
Anything else on 9-10? 9-11? Any comments? 9-12?
Minor tweak to that heading of table 9-10. I think it's services provided in the city of Cheney, not by the city of Cheney, because there's many of them that aren't city of Cheney. Oh,
Wait, where were you at? Oh, I was thinking.
yeah, 9.10.
All
Heading.
places. You're in.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
Instead of
because
buying it, put in, what he's
it-
suggesting.
It's designed to say, here's what the city is providing, not the area. Because if you say in, then it doesn't say by. And this graph shows what the city is providing. So if you take out by, it doesn't tell us. So I wouldn't.
Oh,
I would
you
not
look at,
agree
you
with
look
that.
at the second page on 9-13, everything that's listed under that table.
I understand that, but all of this is the whole table is what we are providing, what the city is providing. And by changing in one, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's frankly wordsmithing. And I wouldn't put it in there because I think it's misleading when it says services provided in the city of Cheney. It's services provided by the city of Cheney. Because services provided in the city of Cheney could be all kinds of services. Just not specifically to what the city's providing. So I would not change that at all.
I agree with him, and also because if we put it with services in the city, like police and fire, they also work outside of the city limits, and so that wouldn't be reflective of what they actually do. If we put it just in the city, it would look like that they just focus within the city limits. Because we also service like water outside of the city limits as well, and electricity too.
Those services are still housed primarily within the city and primarily city agencies. My preference is probably keep it by the city of Cheney as primarily these are tax dollars that are spent and operated by city agencies. I like to keep it at by.
So I assume then that the reason that companies like Davis Communication are here is because they're carrying their cables on city power poles and such. I mean, why would you
Yeah.
have, other than that, why would you have Davis Communication? They're actively using city power poles.
They connect with overlashes.
Okay, so that's why they're listed here, and BNSF doesn't really provide services that I know of. I don't know why they're listed here by contract. You know, I don't know if there's some functionality. I mean, there, in my eyes, there could be a case for a chart for by the city of Cheney and a chart for in city of Cheney. I mean, it would be important to have medical centers listed there somewhere, but they're not really provided by the city of Cheney. They're simply in the city of Cheney. I would separate them.
I would agree with separating.
Separate.
I mean, there's many of them like Davis Communications, Avista, they're all operating under franchise agreements. I mean, that to me, it's like, is that technically by? Sure, but when I start reading the Chaz Clinic and multi-care, that really rubs me wrong.
I'm just gonna say this is wordsmithing. It's a waste of our time, waste of our discussion here, because all of these operate in the city of Cheney by permission of the city of Cheney. So to a certain extent, those are the services that are being provided by the city. You got a medical center, you have all of that. I just think it's one, unnecessary. Two, if you make another one, it's gonna be confusing. You know, okay, provided by the city of Cheney, provided in the city of Cheney. I just think it's gonna be totally confusing. You know, to people that would read this, you know, which is, you have to remember, we've got a bunch of bureaucrats that are gonna be reviewing this. You know, and at the state level, they can get confused really easily.
Bottom line is, this is about capital facilities for the city of Cheney. BNSF isn't one of those. Davis Communication isn't really one of those. The hospitals aren't one of those for sure. You know, whether it's a contractual thing, as Rick says, that they're allowed to operate here by the city of Cheney. Okay, maybe, but they're not a city of Cheney facility that we have to provide capital applications for. That's the purpose of this document.
Here's a really easy app. We forget about the buyer and just say City of Cheney Services. Just listen to it. I think that's Rick's point is they're all in. Yeah. You guys have spent your time. I mean, that's but you get a lot of material good.
I'm okay with as is.
Where did this language come from? Was this, because this is all new, so this is by Nexus?
Yeah, this was done completely by Nexus.
It says it fulfills Growth Management Act requirements must be included. I would recommend the staff that you look at the Growth Management Act requirements and double check their work. Because we recognize we weren't necessarily super pleased with some of their work. And so let's figure out what those requirements are.
The requirements are that
How
we
that-
list all of the services provided.
But
So-
what, I mean, they probably categorize what those services are, right? So we're getting hung up over like, is private company owned services go into the capital facilities plan or not? And it seems like maybe the answer to that is in those requirements that are outlined that we're trying to fulfill.
What if how about we keep everything in for now and get clarification next meeting?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. 9-14, bills policy program listings. Wanna,
Anything there?
yeah, the goals, so the next page. Everyone, you want to go goal by goal?
Sorry, and actually, can we, as we're looking at that whole table, we discussed that additional rail that we have. So as we answer that question, we may need to list them as well, or it needs to be an assessment.
Oh,
Sorry.
Travis, is the goals, policies and programs, is this what Appendix B is?
well, Appendix B is its own document, but these are in Appendix B.
Okay.
Appendix B has the goals and policies and related programs for every single chapter in the comp plan, and they're all put together in one appendix.
Okay.
So like, if you look like how it says G3, G5, G6, and G12, the appendix has G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up, every single one for every chapter. But included in the end of each chapter is just the policies and goals related to that specific chapter.
Okay. And we're gonna talk about Appendix B at a different time.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that will have to be after we approve any and all changes to the goals and policies, because they'll have to be reflected on Appendix B. So any changes we make to goals and policies in each chapter at the end, we just reflect that in the appendix.
Okay. So maybe we'll, unless anyone has a particular thing you want to point out now, maybe we just skip that part, this part for now, for each chapter, till we get to the actual Appendix B.
The only important part would be at the very end. These are policies that Nexus brought forth that aren't included in ours. They have every single goal that they put forth, we already had in ours, but they had a whole bunch of policies that we don't have. And I just included every single one. That way you guys could choose which ones we want to keep, which ones we don't. Terry and I were also thinking, because each one of these, if we add the policies, how the other policies are set up, they intermingle with all the other chapters. But we could, since Nexus has given us a whole bunch of policies for each chapter, just add in specific, like these policies specifically to this chapter. So then we don't have to cross-reference it to every other chapter, make changes to every other chapter, and do it all over again, if that makes sense.
So these ones are specifically for capital facilities.
That's what I would propose, that they just stick just in the capital facilities, because otherwise we'll have
these
to
ones right
go
here.
through every single chapter again to approve it in each chapter.
I think,
Got all the policies. Good policies.
yeah. Maybe we take some time and look all, I mean, there's quite a few here. I don't want to sit here and consider and debate each one tonight. Take the next month and look at them. If one or two stand out, we can have a discussion next time.
Next month will be really short too, so we could put this one and the policies of the next chapter off. That way you guys could have a lot more time to look through them.
Yeah.
When does this have to be done?
Like this chapter or the whole thing?
The whole thing?
December 31st, it has to be approved.
And how much more do we have to do other than what we're doing tonight?
Quite a bit. We'll have the 3 chapters, 6, 12, and 14, the short ones, like one of them's only 2 pages. That will be next month. Next month, we're also going to introduce the Parks Rec, Economic Development, and then the land use and housing that you guys approved before, implemented into the old one. So it'll be just the approved changes that you approved before. After that, we have the introduction, vision, natural assets and sustainability, and arts and culture. Those are all relatively short chapters as well. I kind of put the big chapters up front so that way we could get through it and not get all brain dead at the end. And once that's done, that's all of it. And then we would prove the final one once we get all the formatting done and make it look all pretty.
I'm just gonna bring up one concern, and that is the more time we take to approve it, the less time that the city council has to review it, go through it. So I think we need to be considerate too of their time and their effort. You know, I appreciate the fact that you got this out to us early. I was able to go through the entire thing. You know, and so I appreciate that. I'm just concerned about if we keep pushing things down the road, what are we gonna run into? Because we never know what else is going to happen in those meetings that we're gonna have to take care of. It may just be this, but it may be other things, other developments that come in, other issues that arise that are going to take us away from focus. So I think we need to be careful of how much we're pushing down the road, because as these other ones come in, if we have changes to those, it just pushes and pushes and pushes. So I'm not in favor of continuing to push things down the road, because we're gonna run into that in every chapter, changes that we may suggest. Then they're gonna wait another month to get approved. So I think we need to be very sensitive to pushing things down the road.
Then you want to go through these right now and get it out of the way?
I don't, because I already read it. And so I see all of these that, to me, look favorable. And would be things that I would want to see in our policy. So I don't have any changes to that. If we were gonna go through it, I would think it would only be, do we see something in there that we think needs to be changed?
Yeah.
Not to go through each individual one.
You have a very good point, Rick, is that Travis has spent a lot of time in trying to be considerate of your time, but also planning out, this is how much time we have until the end. And it's very thought out, to his credit. And it's tight because we kind of changed gears midstream here. So this is a valid plan. So just best we can, but if it needs to push, just be aware.
Are we thinking then that we should aim to at least see everything for the first time? No later than the September meeting?
Yeah.
Is giving city council 2 months with leaving them a possibility to kick it back to us?
Well, if you'd like a new copy of, we can get you guys a copy of the schedule so you can see it again. I mean, I think we provided it once before, but just.
One thing we could do just to include them even further is the October meeting is the first one where we review the completed comprehensive plan. We could have that one also be a joint meeting. So that way city council and planning commissions has 3 months together to go through it. That way the first month city council could kick back some ideas. Second month we go through and get those ideas implemented. So then the third month it gets approved by everyone. But that would have to depend on everyone's schedule.
Does the council representative agree?
You got two accounts.
We want to be respectful of your time as well.
None of these stand out as controversial to me. They're all decent and good.
Well, I agree. Well, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
These in red are already written earlier?
No, the ones in red are from Nexus and they're new.
Oh, okay, all right.
They're policies versus goals.
Thanks. Okay.
I guess.
So what page are we on?
So
926 in the packet.
926 last.
Yeah.
Yes.
926, okay.
and I'll apologize because I did not get to go through the whole packet really. And, but when I read this, I got the same type of feeling, like nothing stood out to me as like, oh no, not that. It was just, it just also stood out to me a little bit as if there might be some repetition and either in itself or with the existing policies.
So
I
just double check that nothing's getting.
basically, yeah, it should be incorporating their suggestions in, not necessarily just tacking them on at the end of it. Possibly just duplicating stuff,
Yeah.
so.
And I will admit, I didn't read through them like super deep. I just saw like the main ones. They didn't hit like the exact wording, so I can go through and just double check. They might have reworded some of them a little differently.
And there is just a different structure. I mean, all the other policies, it has a policy and then there's discussion, so. These are all new, then I would assume that they'd have to be structured that way, or.
Well,
is it
that's one way if we have them be just for this chapter. Cause like at the end afterwards, we have capital facilities and related programs. Programs are different than the goals and policies. Right before this, we could just have capital facility programs, or I mean, policies that are just for the capital facilities. Cause the ones that are before capital facilities, utilities, and related policies. Because all of these policies aren't just for capital facilities, they're also for land use, housing, transportation. They go all across the board. But these ones are specifically just for this chapter that Nexus made just for this one. Because yeah, otherwise we would probably want to make a discussion for every single one of those to make it fit like the others.
I think Shane's point is well taken. My question is when you create ambiguity, you create problems, and duplication, that's things that say things differently or can be read differently, that creates ambiguity. And so I think, going through and making sure that, these suggestions are, new things, that they're not existing policies that we're just rewording, I think is something that would be very helpful so that we don't have duplication that can create ambiguity.
Okay.
Everyone okay with
Yeah.
policies?
Yep.
Travis, you didn't want final action on this, right?
We would like final action. Let me
Would.
talk over the changes that we talked about just in this period here. On page 9.5, we want to put the purple pipe well capacity for reuse in a new table. And we want to add a table for wells that aren't in use for potable water that we talked about. On 9.6, when we talk about the 6 wells, we want to add as potable wells and 2 are for non-potable irrigation use. We want to double check with the water department that we solved 100% of the water issues as mentioned and later in that paragraph. We're also going to want to add anything from the purple pipe water reuse from the water department that they might have. We're going to move the library picture to the public building section. On 9.7, change 1 gigabyte to 500 megabytes per second. We're also going to add the Sterling Mormon House, add some data of its location, its history, and its use for the city. We're going to double check with the fire chief to see about the fire response time on page 9.9. We're going to verify if the tract land is owned by the state going across the freeway right there, or the highway right there. We're going to add the other train that crosses 904, look into alternate routes for emergencies, maybe ask the police department how they're doing the alternate route if it comes up. And we're going to look for info on the railroad traffic, such as how long it is in the railroad, how many people it's holding up and all of that. And that could be found in the SEPA data or the permitting data. On 9.12, we're going to look to see if we need to get clarification for the services. Or did we just want to keep that table as it was? Was that the
I
end
think you
game?
agreed to keep the table the way it was.
But we wanted to add the other railroads to the railroad section at the bottom on 913.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna keep the policies that Nexus provided for us. And so we would like to hopefully get a motion to approve those changes and approve the chapter with those changes. And obviously you're gonna get to see it again when it gets to the completed mix. But at least this way, if it's approved here, we can move on. And then you wouldn't have to worry about it until we get back to the completed one and you can look through to see if there's any.
So,
Make a motion to that effect.
well, wait, hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on. You're talking to an attorney. And you're asking me to sign off on something that I don't see the final, product. I'm never gonna do that, just because it's my training that says I'll commit malpractice if I do that. So I think what I would like to see is that we have all of the changes. We see what those changes are before we give final approval. Because once you do final approval, it's pretty difficult to go back and bring it back if there's something that it was added that we see as an issue. So I'm not in favor of doing it that way. Yes, does it slow down this process, which I just said I don't want to do? Yeah, it does, but it should be very minimal just to look at the changes, those few changes that we've suggested, which probably would take 5 minutes in a meeting. So that's my preference, just so the rest of the commission knows.
So if we were to change the red lines that are in here now and only have the red lines for what is going to be changed, then you could look at them really quick and know exactly what we talked about. Is that acceptable?
And then just throw those on right at the beginning of next meeting to kind of get it out of the way. And then do the same thing with future meetings and all that.
That would be my preference.
Okay, we could do that. I just didn't want to overburden you, but yeah, you make a lot of sense. It would only take a few minutes, so that makes sense.
But I'm only one
That's fine.
voice.
I think that was a very wise thought. So I agree.
I just look at it and say, none of us would sign a contract that's been changed without reviewing the changes.
Yeah, you don't actually know what I'm gonna go in and change.
They will.
I'm good.
All right, we'll go ahead with that. So I think I did open the public hearing, so for our discussion, I think I'm looking for a motion to continue this discussion to the next meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second to continue public hearing 2026-07. Capital facilities and utilities element, second presentation. Continue to next month for short discussion and final approval. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Then we will go on to public hearing number 2026-8, transportation element, second presentation, which is number 4 in our packet. The staff want to lead off with a presentation or discussion?
Same thing as last chapter, added a bunch of Nexus's information. We got to wait for STA on some of their data. I reached out several weeks ago to them and haven't heard back. Mainly about their new bus stops, the new transportation coming in and their high HPT, whatever it is. They have like a new high transport thing, but I'm still waiting to hear back from them. So if we are gonna push it off till the next meeting as well, I am hoping I can get back to them, get them to get back to me by then. So just a heads up, there's some data in here that we don't.
Okay.
In the worst case,
Would
if
we be
can't-
able to go through what is here now.
Yeah,
And
there's,
then, again, we could continue it to see if there's gonna be any changes with the information you get from STA.
yeah, in worst case, if we don't get any information, we can always just either erase the old data, or if it still is good data, just keep it and be a little outdated.
Okay. So we'll just jump into it. This first page, questions, comment, looks like there's a minor grammar fix. We move on to 4-2.
See anything?
Someone's questions. Four dash three.
Table 4.01. I'm not seeing a unit, so what are those numbers?
Those are miles, and I don't know why when I printed this out,
Okay.
those white spots, actually have the, name in the miles, but for some reason it came out white. Really weird,
Okay,
but I'll make sure that they actually show the link. Probably some formatting thing.
I do see it on an earlier version.
Just a question, are those lane miles?
Are they what?
Lane miles?
What do you mean lane miles?
So, there's 2 lanes to road typically, so.
Oh, I believe that they're just, one, do you know? Cause this was, gathered for, I'll double check on that, yeah. But I believe it's just one.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just curious.
As I look at it more, I'm also are the totals? I don't know, the totals it doesn't really make sense, because there's different types of arterial, residential. Maybe closed private are types, but then whether or not it's asphalt or gravel is outside of that, so that we've got miles, I mean,
Are we?
yeah, I mean, we got all these miles in here, and it definitely doesn't add up to 43.6 because they're doing different things. So you see what I mean?
Well, yeah, 23.3 miles of asphalt could be the arterial and residential,
Yeah.
but what is the mix and match on that? I would expect arterial is all gonna be asphalt, residential is gonna be almost all asphalt, if not all. And then you tell us is the chart about the type of street, or is it about the type of surface coating?
This table was in the 2017 one. And so all I did was ask Lucky to double check these numbers are still accurate. Lucky is the street department supervisor who does everything on the streets. He confirmed that these numbers were accurate. But I do see what you mean. Like, yeah, the total doesn't add up, but,
Yeah, it
the
looks like
the best option I could get, unfortunately, is to remove the whole thing, because I won't get any answer different from Lucky other than, yep, it's right.
no, I don't think that the numbers are necessarily wrong so much as just the formatting of the table. So just really quickly, you got 13.6 arterial, 30 of residential, that gets to 43.6. So to me, the total number is apparently representative of how many arterial and residential, and then I guess the rest could go down below the total. So you could move the total up higher and then add a different heading that.
Kind of to separate
It's
the
a
type
true
of road
I
from
guess,
the
yeah.
actual road.
Yeah. It's just reorganizing the table, I guess.
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Road classification and road surface type, maybe.
Yeah, so
4-4.
Where does Mullenix Road go to? How far out does that go?
Down past Amber, past
Yeah, away.
eventually.
I guess
out-
I've never traveled that one to the end, so I was just curious of how far it goes out.
I went out there once until I got bored. So it was a ways.
Yeah, the ways.
Miller Ranch area.
Well, and actually, so where's Badger Lake Road?
Ooh,
Isn't it, is that the one out past Salvi?
Whoa. No. Gee,
But
wow,
is that actually an access point to
no,
Cheney?
it
I mean,
doesn't
that
come,
bit comes off of a different road elsewhere.
it doesn't come into Cheney under that name, no.
It's the one that's right past Hawken. And it goes out to Sprague and, oh, no, no, that would be Williams Lake, that's right next to that. Badger's the furthest one east.
I think Badger Lake Road should be removed. I don't
I
think it's
agree.
actually a road that provides access to Cheney.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is talking about Cheney's primary access points. I don't, is Badger Lake more of a feeder that feeds into another one? I do not know. I don't know where Badger Lake Road is.
I think it's just the one that comes off of Williams Lake Road and goes up to Badger Lake. That
That would be
one
feeder.
mile. And I think that's private, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. Is, I mean, there's two ways you can get to Williams and Badger Lake.
Mhm.
And one of them is the Cheney Plaza Road. That goes out, you take a right, goes down to Badger first and then keep going, it goes to Williams. And then you have the other one at the end of Williams
That's Mullenix.
that comes back in.
Any rate,
It would
we should
stand to
look-
reason.
we should
you
look into
longtime
Badger Lake.
Citizens here don't know where Badger, maybe it shouldn't be included.
Can we double check Badger Lake Road?
Badger Lake Road definitely doesn't reach Cheney.
No,
Does it connect to the Cheney Plaza? Is that what you're saying? Nick? Where's that? Or
That would
Yeah,
be
that's
my
how-
guess off the top of my head, but
That's how you get, well,
20 miles out of town.
and I've lived here since 72, and I had, that was one of my grandfather's favorite places to go to fish was Badger Lake. So I traversed that a lot. You know, and it's the Cheney Plaza, you know, and Badger Lake. I don't even, is there even a Badger Lake Road?
Is that
Yeah,
the nexus?
I don't know.
do we change the Badger Lake Road to Cheney Plaza since Cheney Plaza is the road that actually leads into the city limits?
oh,
That is true.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, you've got this other county roads rambling after the fact that talks about Plaza.
Oh, true, yeah. So maybe just remove the Badger Lake Road?
I double check it and come with a recommendation next meeting.
Maybe I'll just take a Sunday drive and figure it out myself. I got a cousin that lives out on Williams Lake, so. Actually, a city employee.
Well, it's also interesting that in the later part about the other county roads providing access, it includes Mullenix Road. So I don't even know that Mullenix Road is a primary access. So. I think this is another example of double checking nexus doesn't work.
I don't know. I'm not finding Badger Lake Road.
Oh, Badger Lake Road is out by Badger Lake. And it runs into Cheney Plaza. Cheney Plaza comes into Cheney.
That's Williams Lake Road.
Well, I could definitely see that there's been no new primary access points created to the city of Cheney in the last 20 years. So I don't think that we need to add to if they weren't on there 20 years ago.
Don't remove those two.
I would remove both of them. Yes. From the primary access list.
Everyone else agree?
Cheney
Right.
Plaza becomes Rock Lake Road. Rock Lake takes you down to
Williams Lake Road.
Williams Lake Road.
And I don't know where in the world any Badger Lake Road shows up. I guess I prefer to keep Mullenix Road and remove the word primary when it says Cheney's primary access points. Just say Cheney's access points. Because there are some people down Mullenix who say, I get to Cheney this way.
Pretty area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Well, I'm sorry, it's just looking at the whole list. It's not even like it's Cheney, Spokane, and Cheney Plaza aren't in that list,
That's true.
right? So
Do we add that?
I don't know. They're
Cheney,
describing it in a
Spokane's on the
way.
list.
It's like US 195 at Cheney, Spokane. I just don't know that. There's work to be done on this. Again, I think it's, I think, I mean, you, that's the thing, you can go on the argument of all of those,
Okay.
but I just think it's very clear that Nexus made a recommendation that they didn't take a lot of time to make sure that it was clear and coincided with the whole structure of the section, so.
Yeah, Nexus only added the Badger Lake and the Mullinex. All the others were already there in the previous comp plan, worded just like that.
You can get the average daily traffic counts for all these roads coming in, and I think you can get when there's a significant drop, like the next road is 10% of the previous road's access into town, stop. Understood?
Yeah.
Agreed? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you want me to do? Look up the,
The issue is primary, and
Yeah.
I agree. We want the primary ones. So how do you decide what's primary? You get the state's data on average daily traffic counts, and you realize that, yes, 904 from these places, that's an order of magnitude more than Murphy.
and we're looking for a 10% drop.
I'm just throwing out a number.
What we just,
What we all know for sure is Badger Lake should not. Badger Lake should not.
I mean, we're splitting hairs. If we want to stick with primary, we should drop the two off the bottom. And those first five are in fact primary, and we move along.
I'm okay with that.
Because I don't think anybody's really
Nobody considers those.
gonna get through,
primary
yeah,
access
getting,
points. I
excited
wouldn't
about
even,
that.
I wouldn't even consider the bottom two primary access points.
Right.
You know, they're strictly residential, rural residential and farm
Mhm.
coming into town. You got traffic from both ends of 904 and from Sound Lake. That's your traffic. That's your primary.
So we could remove the bottom two and
Just
move
remove the
on.
bottom two. We stick
Yep.
with primary and those first five. I think everybody in this room would agree. Those are in fact the primary.
Keep the first five.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm happy.
good. Then the map on 4-5 and 4-6.
So I'm looking from Sixth Street to Curran. There's no sidewalk on either side. And it's right in front of the Cheney Pool. Is the city looking at doing anything with that to create a sidewalk on one side or the other naturally would be on the north side, because that's where the sidewalk is in front of the tennis court. But I can tell you, I see a lot of kids, because I happen to live on the corner of Cedar and Herman, that walk in front of my house. And when they get down to past my house, because the roadway widens at my place. But right off of Sixth, there's no place to walk unless you're gonna walk on the slope of the house that's right on the corner of Sixth and Cedar. Is there any plan to put a sidewalk in there? I'm not advocating for that, because then I just have to shovel the walks where they put them in. So
Let's
I'm
grass
not,
them all.
I'm just wondering, because I'm always worried about traffic. And during the summer, it just heightens because of the number of kids I see walking, from the east side of the city, up towards the pool and the tennis courts.
I'm not personally aware of any. I haven't heard any, but I can definitely check with our Public Works Director, Dan Ferguson, and get an answer if you'd like. Yeah.
I like that idea in terms of safe access to the pool, more access to the pool. We're certainly
Since there's more
concerned with
traffic,
the,
obviously.
and we're certainly concerned with the fiscal aspects of the pool if we get more kids there.
Yeah.
Well, we might be jumping ahead a little bit. 419 talks about pedestrian projects.
Assuming there's gotta be an overarching. Section. And the whole thing.
Anything more with these 2 pages? Can do 4-7 and 4-8.
And 4.8 is where we need the STA in.
Oh, okay.
Eight. I think under air transportation is probably inaccurate, and this is where STO fill this in, but it says transit service is available however routed through Spokane, and I don't think that that's correct anymore with their.
West Plains Transit.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right in the middle of the page, the Cheney High Performance Transit is targeted to be implemented in 2021. Did it get done or didn't it?
Well, that's why we're waiting to hear back from STA.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't have that information yet. I've asked them, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the air transportation paragraph can be updated. There's more.
The air transportation?
Yeah, when it says direct connections to a number of Western and Rocky Mountain destinations, I mean, we go to East Coast, Texas, nationwide.
I just don't see any point of having that sentence or part of that sentence, right?
Yeah,
Scratch that.
Yeah, should we just erase that whole sentence?
Yeah.
yeah.
People know what the Spokane Airport is.
I haven't had a chance to bash Brett Lucas yet, but that reads like a Brett Lucas sentence.
Yes. Yeah, I would just delete that last phrase from which provides direct connections to the end.
Yeah. Four dash 9.
really quick for 4-8, since it does talk about taxi service, would we maybe want to add like Uber or Lyft now that those are a thing? Or,
No.
I consider that under ground service to or from. I mean, I personally had an Uber ride from the airport to Cheney and it worked fine.
You don't have control over it. Uber and Lyft, you don't have control over it, so I don't see any reason for you to put it in there.
You know, yeah, I don't feel any of them
Right.
listed.
the only reason I thought is because we do list, ground service to and from the airport is available by taxi or airport shuttle.
Maybe ride share options are available as well.
Because we don't have a shuttle, do we?
I don't.
Oh.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the, although not very accommodating either.
Or-
Yeah.
As I say, at least from my personal experience, it.
Maybe 20 years
have
ago. it
trouble
wasn't
getting a
very-
ride, so.
4-9. The first one, I have no idea if that's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with Dan. Unfortunately, he's been gone, since last week, but,
You can just,
I don't even know how we would actually find that data out other than going to, BSNF or whatever, but.
you can just cut out the whole three cities thing and just Cheney
Cheney is.
has two main lane, has two main line railroads. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay, two main line.
So have it say like Cheney has the distinction of having two mainline railroads running side by side through
I
it.
wouldn't even worry about the distinction. Cheney simply has two, it's embellishment. The distinction of is just embellishment.
Okay.
So is the idea, take everything out except for the highlighted portion?
Just
Take out most of the highlighted portion.
Yeah, condense the sentence. Just
Cheney has two mainline railroads running side by side through its city limits.
Yes.
Through its city limits. Yeah.
I mean, we start out by saying it has two railroads, then we go down and name a third.
But this is, side by side.
Main line. Main line is what we want to keep main line.
The rest of 9 looks fine to me.
We will have to double check if they've changed how many trains per day come through though. It's another Dan thing.
4-10.
I don't know, for that comment I have, TB 20, however, future development is proposed based on council approval of expansion of the urban growth area in 2006 that limited total units to 1,316. I don't know if that's still gonna be going on or if it already has been developed or what.
Important to know that.
Yeah, we could check the county.
What?
Would you have to check with the county?
The one thing I'm a little concerned about is if, I think we should possibly remove it just because if we change the numbers, I don't know if that was council approved, because this is saying council approved this specific number in 2006. And
Yep.
so,
The portion in pink doesn't tell me anything that's valuable.
yeah,
And the urban growth area right now is in pretty big flux with the county and it's ongoing at the moment.
I'm okay.
The idea, just take out the highlighted portion and put a
Yep.
period after tracks.
that's what I would suggest.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Me too. Anything else?
Sorry, just a little bump backwards, but did you find out if the city has any ADA transition plan they're working?
We're working on that. Do you know from your history?
No,
No, we were trying to figure that out today.
No,
but-
and it also just kind of raised concerns for me because what's realistic in terms of trying to address accessibility through existing roadways and street slopes and everything. So that just popped up to me as, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that entail. And
So
so,
from what we could discern today, there is an informal process. You know, when you're impacting an area, you bring the ADA access on the sidewalks up to current requirements. And then if you have any budget left over, I'm not sure what budget it was, but if there's budget at the end of the year, you do a few more. But it's just been the process rather than a written down policy, is my impression. That's what we were trying to discern today, but I can my plan is to clarify this with
no,
Dan Ferguson tomorrow.
yeah, there's definitely things in place regarding when you start using grant dollars to do a project. And if you touch a
Yeah.
pedestrian ramp, that you bring it up, things like that. But ADA and transition plan is not familiar to me.
So do we keep it or not?
Well,
Like, we need the answer.
It is a requirement, unfortunately, for the GMA, a new one, and we do have to have a ADA transition plan documented in the transportation element. And there are requirements for it, a whole bunch of different requirements, and that's what we just actually ran across this issue today, and I double checked, and yes, it is required, so we'll have to get on it. But one thing I do know, Seattle is working on their ADA transition plan, and it's not being implemented until 2028. So I don't know how they're getting away with that. It might be just that we have to show that we're working on it and have started the process to get it done.
So who's responsible for developing that plan?
We're gonna talk to Dan Ferguson tomorrow. But I did print out the requirements for the RCW that outlines exactly what needs to be included in it, so. And we might already be doing all that, like Terry said, it might just not be written down. It might just be writing down what we do and then.
And Travis was saying that his research showed that Kimley Horn has a good head start on a format for this.
Yeah,
That we might be able to just kind of dovetail into that, and I'm gonna let
yeah.
you have any more.
If it is a huge ask or something, or if like the state says, hey, you need to get this done right now. Kimley Horn does have this already finished. They've already produced how to create them. I'm sure they've already created them for some companies, and since we're getting them on contract, worst case, we could always say, hey, Kimley Horn, we need this to hit the GMA requirements, and I'm sure they have a template that they would just insert Cheney and it would hit all their requirements.
Well, I guess just in terms of language in here, then if the answer is that we're currently developing a plan because we're required to, I just wouldn't say specifically to evaluate and address accessibility barriers. You know, it could be a transition plan for public right of way and other city facilities. The reason why I would just cut that language out is I highly doubt that it's saying that you're actually going to address all accessibility barriers, because that's not realistic.
There is a lot of unrealistic requirements for it. Yeah, unfortunately, it is pretty intense what they want.
You gotta remember, this is state government.
Well, we're not going to regrade existing roads. I'll put it that way. There's got to be
They-
some level of reasonability to what they're asking.
No, that is simply not true. You haven't dealt with the state.
I have. But anyways, I don't want our document to be unreasonable. So if at the end of the day, what that transition plan has to look like, because of state law, it's different, that so be it. But at least I would want to say that we're going to address all accessibility barriers. We just
Make
don't
sure
need to say
that
it.
if we do find that Kimley Horn has a great template to start with, we're gonna tweak it to make it relevant to our city. That's just,
And if the state's requiring that, then naturally we need to. I don't have a clue, so.
So we just want to look into making sure that what was written is actually required. We're not writing more than what's required.
Exactly, yeah. We have to have a plan. Yes, we have a plan.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Get to move on to 411. Maybe 412 too. The highlight comment,
Yeah,
I would assume so.
are you talking about for 412?
412, yeah.
Yeah, Terry and I were talking about this morning. This is how we are proposing it. All significant commercial development over the past decade has occurred along or around First Street, period. Because we have had the Cheney Depot and that was south of Cheney Spokane, so it's no longer just development north of Cheney Spokane.
as well as the Hydac building out in the industrial park. It's near 904, but it's not north, well, it is north of, but we were trying to encompass and, okay, really. And it brings in the Cheney Spokane Road and we really couldn't make sense of north of what? Because it doesn't go all the way through our city. 904 does, but, so it was a little bit confusing, so we thought we could word it better.
Yeah, I think you gotta take the reference out to take the reference out of Cheney Spokane Road, because that's just simply not.
Just comes in and stops, so, yeah,
It ends right there.
it was confusing.
You gonna get to that direction?
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna remove that whole north of the Cheney Spokane and add around.
Okay. Anything else? Those 2 pages? If not, we'll go on to 4-13 and 4-14.
Is there any plans to develop south of the 2 lines? Do we have any proposals at this point?
South of where?
South of the 2 railroad lines.
Oh,
We've got that with more proposed in the future. And then the comment is, are there still more proposed? I haven't been aware of any proposals to do any more building that's south of the railroad tracks.
I think isn't Etman doing that one?
Well,
with the-
there's nothing current in the works, but Mr. Etman would like to keep some of his properties in the UGA, and that's a discussion with the county right now. That's about all that's being chatted about development that way.
And that's fine. But the language says with more proposed in the future. We have no proposals for the city
No.
for any developments south of the railroad track, so I don't know why we would. I think we'd take that out.
We actually do have a proposal on the books that is. It's been submitted and additional information has been requested. Yeah. It's sitting.
Okay.
So it has been proposed. So that part's accurate.
I am incorrect. I stand corrected. Sue does that all the time to me.
Still, do we need it?
That's her
I
job.
think you have to leave it in there if there's a proposal already there. I think it could that,
Apologize.
because it does impact,
414 over here.
Where are we?
Transition.
Thank you for clarifying that, Sue.
Anything for 4-14?
14, no.
No.
I don't know, but if it's what I'm thinking of as far as being proposed, I don't know how much I call it proposed, but I would maybe say more
potentially in the future, which is more broadly open. I don't know if there's,
They got proposed to put potential in the future
yeah,
with
I
more
don't know if that, I
potential.
don't know if that's the middle ground on that.
I don't know, who's never led me wrong, so I'm gonna have a hard time going against what you just said, so.
I'm fine with proposed.
I'm fine with the way it reads, yeah.
So I have to jump back real quick. Under the existing bicycle and pedestrian traffic. There's this whole thing talking about the growth housing, which slightly bugged me referring to his name, but I guess that's fine. But it's talking about that there's no sidewalk connecting it to downtown, but I don't think that's accurate.
So what it says?
Where are you reading?
On the top right of 411. It's saying basic improvements such as a paved sidewalk along the route could aid greatly in making walking more viable than it is today. I don't know if that,
Isn't there a sidewalk there
I
now?
believe
There
there
is,
is, and so my
yeah.
question is, 20 years ago, maybe there wasn't, and that's why that was put in, but it's not relevant now.
Could I?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Such as a paved sidewalk.
yeah.
Paved sidewalk already exists, so.
Mhm.
So should we just remove that whole sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that does the job.
Yes, yeah.
Put a period after EWU. but
Yeah,
take out the
EW.
4-15.
Just an addition of standards. Description of standards. I don't see anything. Great, really.
There's nothing we can do. 4-16. I don't see anything here. What else? 4-17.
Likely annexation. 416 Cheney Spangle Road, likely annexations and development southeast Cheney. Is that done? Is it likely? Seems like something that we would be in the know.
I'm assuming that's the Empton property and it's already been done. It's not annexed yet. But
Yet, and you may no longer be in UGA's.
Possible annexation,
Yeah, it's not so likely as much as it was.
potential, possible.
Possible.
Or,
Change likely to possible.
yeah. Anything for 4-17?
So does Alki go from behind Les Schwab all the way to the other end of town? Is that what I? Cause Alki's on the north side of the tracks and front is on, or are they
I don't
both
think
on?
it extends to Les Schwab, but doesn't it start at Cheney Spangle? Isn't that?
I don't know why.
that-
Right, it doesn't go
is that
past
front?
Cheney Spangle.
Up front?
Yeah, there's no roadway past Cheney Spangle.
Mid road? Yeah, what's the name of the road on the other side of the tracks between the UB and Cheney Spangle? Is that
I thought it was Front Street.
Front Street? But then Alki is more or less in that area that goes beyond, is it not?
I don't drive
You
it
have to
very
jog down and go to Alki. Yes. It's a wonderful street. You should drive through that quickly. Yeah. Very bumpy.
Oh, yeah, it goes from South Cheney Spangle. Right down there.
On page 416, the caption for the figure, there's a misspelling for Van Nuys. It should be Nuys.
And Van Nuys, Nuys?
Correct.
Anything for 4-17 or 18? Four dash 19.
Is there a sidewalk from 904? On the right side of, as you turn right and go up Simpson Parkway? There, a sidewalk that goes along, what is it?
North side of Simpson Parkway.
Yeah, there is when you get further up. I'm just talking about the, up to, it starts with the apartment complex, if my recollection serves me right, so there's no sidewalk from the end of that, apartment complex down to, Taco Bell.
There is sidewalk. I live just right there. It goes all sidewalk on both sides, goes all the way down to First.
I'm just looking at the pedestrian projects and what it says is that they've been identified for improving walkability. And if you've got sidewalks on both sides, how are we gonna improve walkability?
I think it's because it's talking about possible improvements or either sign striping, advanced signage, LED signage, traffic measures, flashing beacons. So it's not necessarily the sidewalk itself, it's things like the flashing beacons, that the use of it, so. I would think maybe Simpson Parkway at Ogden Way might have been identified due to being a little bit of an S curve there. Might be limited sight lines for vehicles that are driving down Simpson Parkway to see pedestrians. That's speculation.
You sold.
Rode my scooter up that way the other day. There's an S curve.
Anything on 4-19?
No.
4-20?
I'm good on both.
Yeah. Good.
I do see one typo I made on 420. At the last paragraph, table 4.02 represents a summary of crash data for Cheney. It looks like when I copied it, it went from one page to another and got the title and I'm gonna suggest erasing draft transportation element revised date, page number.
Okay. 4.21. Nothing from me. Nothing from me.
Do we need to say that same sentence on December 12th, 2013 twice on the same page?
Yeah, I would recommend removing the second one since it's introduced on it.
Sure.
It also is repeating, it's a long range transportation plan, also known as a MTP, and that's also duplicating.
Yeah, it goes on for about
Oh my gosh.
three sentences, 2 or 3 sentences are repeated there.
Did you get that, Travis?
Yeah, I'm trying to see where exactly it'll change. I think after the 2040, so starting from on December 12th all the way to Spokane region through 2040, that looks like it's duplicated.
Agreed.
Okay. 4.22.
Working from another document.
Nothing.
Good.
4.23.
In the new added stuff for funding, on the second sentence, it says local and private funding provides the lion's share of the financing. I don't really like saying lion's share. And I also don't know that we have private funding paying for projects.
What was that? No. So would private be developers doing the work and then turning it over to us?
Yeah, building the road, sidewalks, development in general.
Oh,
Yeah. As developer.
Instead of lion's share, what do we want?
just
Significant?
majority.
We don't even know that. Do we? Do we know?
I'm not sure, I'm not sure what a lion's share is.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying significant.
It's a good amount.
Depends upon who else is leading in.
Generally development paper.
Then the city accepts it into their network.
Local and private funding provide financing. Just the lion's share of the remove.
Majority of, or
Just remove the lion's share of the. So it becomes local and private funding provide financing for the city's access streets.
It's good.
I'm good with that.
Well, one thing though, right after that, we took, they do list, state funding and federal funding and other funding. So I think having something that says like a significant or some term so that we don't make it seem like local and private funding is the only funding.
Okay.
For financing. So I do like your idea of a significant.
Significant.
Well, they're covering two different things. One's is the
Yeah.
active streets, one's the arterial streets. So I'm not really concerned about having to say that it's significant at all. I think it's fine to just scratch the lion's share of.
Okay.
So aren't arterials and access streets the exact same thing?
No.
Yeah.
No, and it's broken down separately in the way they call them times, yeah.
Are all these numbers right? Just what next to that Nexus add that
This is all Nexus is that.
as a chart. Um, 4-24. Does Cheney have LIDs? Currently?
There's an ordinance in place to address it.
Okay. So it's a possible funding mechanism, okay.
It exists.
Cause you have to coordinate that with the county, right?
Yeah, the treasurer's office. Yeah. Move on to 425 if we're good. Look, definition looks good to me. What I understand.
I'm good.
It's 426. We can,
What?
so we're good with 425. And then this last part here, this the appendix B.
Yeah, these are the goals and policies for land. On page 435 are the policies, from Nexus.
All right, 435 policies.
And like with the other one, well, I'll double check, all the approved ones to make sure they're not. duplicated.
Okay. I'm good with these policies.
You know,
I don't know the first, sorry, the first new policy, which says develop and support a public transit system.
Well,
we work with SBA to develop it.
Yeah, but SCA goes under the third one. Third policy that's being added.
Well,
Also gotta assume that SCA was already in one of the existing policies.
well, the first one specifically talks about disadvantaged and provide increased mobility options and access for all.
So like, I'm raising the question about that, cause what does that entail? I don't really picture this city chief stuff. Public transit. This is for disadvantaged. or increasing building options, I can see that being incorporated as part of working with SBA, not necessarily wholly separate.
And
Bracket.
SDA already has the ADA paratransit buses, so it's been developed.
I would suggest taking that language regarding the address of special need, disadvantage, et cetera, and incorporating that into that third new policy.
So kind of combine 1 and 3.
Yeah, so you just, at the end of 3, you just say including, and then refer to strategies that address the special needs.
Yeah. Okay. That's good for transportation. Did you want to quickly over the,
Well, if we're gonna be going through it next month, there's no need.
Okay.
I'll make all the approved edits and then we'll redline the edits that we talked about so we can quickly go through it at the beginning of next meeting.
so I would look for a motion to continue this public hearing 2026-8 transportation element, second presentation to the next meeting. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And then I assume we're gonna continue the next 3 to the next meeting as well.
Yep, we're just introducing them to you. The technology, chapter 6, chapter 12, essential public facilities, chapter 14, implementation. We're hoping to get comments by the 27th on these 3 chapters. So if you could read through them, let us know any red line edits that you want. That way we can get it back to you. And now we do have a 4th person in our office, so we'll be able to get it to you sooner because it's gonna be less crazy for us.
Could I ask you to make a change to your formatting though? The stuff you're importing from Nexus is read as well as the stuff, other corrections and edits and comments. Could you make the Nexus stuff a different color so that we know where they're being introduced? Where their recommendations are being introduced?
I can try, I think all I would have to do is say that edit is from a different person, so that way it shows different color. It should be doable, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you could make it yellow or orange or something so that we can,
Some other,
so that we can see that it's coming from somebody else's documentation.
Okay.
Rather than just some edit we've made.
Okay.
yeah, I could do that for the future ones for sure.
Yeah.
When we did the land use and climate elements, you guys sent us digital files. But that didn't happen this go around.
Do you want digital copies of all these then?
Yeah.
That, I mean, I thought that helped a lot in terms of being able to actually be able to share each other what exactly we're thinking.
Right.
As opposed to just verbally saying and trying to understand it.
Okay, I could do that first thing in the morning, send it all out to everyone.
So
Need a motion? On 6, 7, and 8.
that'd be great.
I move that we continue public hearing 2026-10, 2026-11, 2026-12.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Oh, motion.
Motion. Second.
Rick,
I move.
Oh, you moved second, yes.
Motion and second. Any discussion about continuing these 3 public hearing topics?
The only thing I would say is, let's make sure we read these in advance, so we're not reading them here, take us a lot less time.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I do want to just put it on record really quick in case anyone watches the video later or anyone in the audience wants to know. There are digital copies of this in PDF form attached on the city website, but I'll send you guys Word document forms since you guys are looking at it. But yeah, anyone who wants to download them in the community, can download them and send in their edits, and we'd be happy to look them over.
Commissioner reports.
I think the parade was wonderful. I got the wonderful opportunity to attend Medical Lake's Founders Day. Because Medical Lake sends all their cases to me over in Airway Heights. So I attended that, and it was really, I thought we had a lot more people, vendors, and so I think, you know, that was done really well. The one thing that Medical Lake did is probably because of the entries that they have, they announce each entry. I'm not sure where we'd do that in the route, but that may be something that we could suggest to the rodeo.
They did announce the entries right when you got to downtown. At pretty much Al Pharmacy, a little past Al Pharmacy, that little booth and speakers. So people sitting immediately there heard it.
I was
I
down
saw where you were at.
at the depot.
Yeah.
At our little booth. So. Anyway. That's all I have.
I'll say I mean, in my time, taking my family leave, you know, with the new one and getting a little time with kids, that it's been really great that we're in this city that has these different things. I mean, my kids went to the parade, as a family went to the rodeo. We have our son doing swim lessons at the pool, which has been awesome. And we've been taking the kids over to the high school and taking advantage of the meal program that we're doing. Which, I mean, if you go there, it's like, man, it'd be cool to see other people go take advantage of that too, because I don't know what they do with all the leftover food. So it's there. Hopefully people take advantage. Looking forward to next month. Looks like August 10th is our next scheduled meeting. Anyone planning on being out of town or not able to participate?
I will not be here.
I'll have to check with the boss.
No, I'm in town.
I'll be here.
I don't know. Okay.
Here.
I'm definitely out of town, possibly virtually attend. Virtually? Possible. Okay. I won't fully commit, but maybe we can get an email sent out the week before and confirm. Make sure we have a quorum.
If we don't want to skip that meeting.
No.
At this point, we need 4 for a quorum. There's 5. There's 6 of us here tonight. 4, yeah. Because we're down 1.
We'll have 4.
I'll be here.
If we have to reschedule, I'm out the last 2 weeks of August, out of the country, so I would not be able to participate.
We'll have 4.
Okay.
Happen.
Quick question for staff. The roundabout, are they on target as far as the construction goes? Are they meeting their schedule?
As far as I know, they are getting after it and it'll be done. I mean, the plan is to get it done before school starts.
They're 2 days ahead of schedule.
Oh, perfect.
I hadn't heard, is there a roundabout going anywhere?
6th and Betts.
By the bus garage.
Oh, okay.
So what is the current scheduled finish date?
I think that the plan was to have it done by school, but
5 days from the day they started.
yeah.
Okay.
I visited the Singapore Department of Urban Planning Agency Gallery last week. Now it's hard to compare city state of 6 million on the coast at the tropics with us, but this was a two-level museum gallery of the role of urban planning in that city's economic development and social sustainability. And I'll say it's inspiring. It gives us something to promote, maybe at next year's rodeo, next year's Mayfest, the role of our committee here and telling the city what we do and why we do it.
Walked almost the entire rodeo route, the parade route. Some of it twice and some of it in both, some of it to get back to my truck. Had a ball, gave out about 1,200 flags and about 50 pounds of candy. And there is nothing quite like that face-to-face contact. Here's a flag, hand them flag. And I would say 80% of everybody who I offered a flag to took.
Was it the 250?
So we started with the 250s because I knew that after the 4th of July, they wouldn't sell anyway. And so we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we just get them donated out. Then we had about 1,200 of the mini flags, US flags.
Those are all long. Yeah. So
yeah,
almost everyone had one in their hand.
Yeah, we had quite a few of them. And it was encouraging to see, you got to figure that the people who go to the rodeo parade are going to have a more familial feeling, more of a feeling towards local events and that sort of thing. And I would say that it proved out that fairly patriotic crowd.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So actually just remembered, last meeting I had asked for an outline regarding and that process so that we can understand regarding the land use element.
And the idea was to have that as part of this packet. So
Update.
Yeah, I dropped the ball on that because there's big changes, and right now we're meeting with Kinley Horn and Scott Chesney actually soon to yeah, I'll let Terry talk.
Oh, whenever you're ready for staff reports, good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you all for all the time you spent on these documents away from your family. It is recognized that it's a big ask. It's an investment in our community and it's appreciated. It's appreciated. Yeah, this Wednesday, there will be an elected official steering committee meeting and there'll be a decent amount of UGA discussions, approval or discussions about the county's environmental impact study, the EIS, and our mayor will attend and give public comment. And Thursday, we will be meeting City Administrator Ed Weiss and Meese. Sorry, I had a friend named Weiss. And Mayor Dan Ferguson, myself, we're all going to meet with Scott Chesney of Spokane County and voice our strong opinion on the UGA urban growth area and what the county is proposing to do. They are proposing to remove all of our urban growth area that is primarily to the south of town anyway. But we've been working very diligently to prove a case as to why we should keep it. And I mean, you can chime in as you need to, but the land capacity analysis that has been done in the previous years, we went back and we had Kinley Horn kind of reverse engineer it to see, okay, if this is the result we want to have to show that we need this UGA, can we get there with these numbers if we, remove parks and we just couldn't support it. So it's a hard case to present that way. So we have to kind of shift and look at other ways to try and preserve some of our UGA. I think it's an important thing for our city. By removing all of our UGA at this time, you kind of put a stranglehold on our growth. It makes it very difficult to grow. Should a developer come in, it'd be a big ask to grow with any kind of speed. So anyway, we're on top of it. We're having discussions with the county and And it's, a lot of jurisdictions are unhappy with this. It's not just us. So we just want to make sure we got a fair shake in the deal. So. You have anything to add on that? This Wednesday, we have a hearing examiner meeting. We have a proposed doggy daycare conditional use permit. And that it didn't fit in the zone, but they're going through the process, and it's the first one we've been through, so it's an interesting process. Dryden Hall, SEPA reviews for a demolition of Dryden Hall. And then we have a pre-development meeting coming up this week as well for the replacement for Dryden Hall. We're working really hard to get the contracts all in place for Kimley Horn to get on board. It's been, with all the transitions of mayors and city administrators and everybody, it's been kind of difficult to get the contracts all signed right. So they've been great working with this. Currently working on Nexus's final invoice and putting it next to what our deliverables were and making sure that we got everything we're supposed to have. And thank you for your efforts on that too. We just had numerous lot line adjustments, fence reviews, everything, just doing business. It's busy. We're busy. Brewster Hall is another one. They're getting ready to work on their parking lot and getting it completed, as well as their other ones. It's a unique project where they have 3 different parking lot agreements. So, personally, I attended the Main Street Strategies workshop that was at EWU this last week, and that was pretty productive as well. So striving to give you more staff report because I've been a little just busy and it just fell through the cracks. So I'm going to do better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you?
Yeah, and I have a staff report, the Nexus packet that was on your table. This is some data that they collected on our current codes and what we're out of compliance with and what we will be out of compliance with. And I just wanted to provide it to you all, so we have a list, because right after we finish the comp plan, we're gonna start tackling these, so we're not out of compliance with our zoning code. Before Todd left, he did have me work on draft ordinances for ADUs, accessory dwelling units, and co-housing. And so I provided these just to give you an idea of what we're gonna need to get all these up to date. So every one of these that are highlighted, like the ADUs deadline is December 31st, 2026. Same with co-living. There's just different deadlines, but because we're working so hard on the comp plan, we can't really throw all this in the mix as well. So we're hoping immediately in January after the comp plan, we'll just start tackling these, get all of these before you and get them approved so that the state doesn't come down on us.
Is it, are these all because of changes in our
Almost
statutes?
all of them, yeah, are from 2025.
Lots of changes this year.
Yeah.
And they recognize it. That's why they extended the deadline to December. And I've been chatting with Commerce. They have local representatives and they're amazing to work with. And so they're really understanding that this is a big ask, and it's not just us, it's other smaller towns. It's a big ask when you don't have a huge staff.
Yeah.
It's a big ask when you have a big staff. So they're very good to work with.
Well, thank you for staying on top of it.
On that page 5, that document where it says infill housing deadline 2025.
Yeah, there's some that we're already out of
Okay.
compliance with.
Okay.
So that's why we want to immediately work on getting all these updated. And that's what, because the co-living housing was out of date. And that's why the first thing when I started last year, Todd came up to me and was like, hey, we need to get a draft ordinance of this. I got it all put together and it's all ready, but then Todd retired and yeah, so.
Anything else?
Everything for me.
Thank you. Nothing else. We are adjourned and we'll see everyone back next month. Thank you.
You're working with a partner. Come back to the bill. So you have nothing.